Greetings, dear friends. This is Godwill Yakum, continuing with a lesson on methodology. So, um, in our last class, we're looking at the introduction. We based our studies only on the introduction of your work, and today we're going to we're going to move on to the body and the conclusion. And after then, I believe you must have been well rooted in methodology. So, first thing first, a small recap of what we did in our last class. We spoke of the introduction, and I said the introduction of your work is a very important, the most vital, however, a very important part of your work. I would not say it's the most important, but it counts a lot. It really counts a lot because that is the very first thing the examiner sees when he takes or picks up your script to mark. And so the way you structure it, it should be very captivating. I want you to know that just by looking at the introduction of your work, the examiner can already determine whether you will pass or you will fail. The examiner can already know whether you know what you are to write on or not. From the introduction of your work, I want to tell you that an examiner may just look at the introduction of your work and decide to grade you, even though in rare cases. But the introduction tells us already what you will talk about in the body. If I have to grade you on the introduction, I've actually graded you on all your work. Remember, the introduction ends with the announcement of the plan. What are you doing at the level of announcement of the plan? You are announcing what you will discuss about in the body of your work. So the introduction alone already carries a lot, that by looking at your introduction completely, I know if you are on the right track or not. So if I see that you are not on the right track, what's the need marking your paper? It's of no need marking your paper, already saying that you at the level, let's say at the level of announcement of your plan, you're talking about something off topic, which means that in your body you go off topic. So I want you to consider all what I said on the introduction in our last class. Take it very serious. Consider it. Now, one thing I'll be adding uh, is the number of pages that the introduction should have. Introduction should not be 3 lines. Remember, the truth is, without the use of the plan methodology, you may you may sometimes write introduction like 3 lines, 4 lines, or even less than that. But when you look at the lesson I gave you on the introduction, you see that if you are to implement all that, you're really going to have a lot to write. So by the time you apply all those things I told you, you're going to really have a lot to write. And your introduction should have at least 1 page. At least. I mean, your introduction alone should have normally 1.5 page. At least 1 page. Now, when I say normally 1.5 page, avoid going beyond that. When you're writing your introduction, avoid writing a whole leaf. I mean, a leaf is two-sided. Where you take a piece of paper, the one side that you see, the one side you're writing on, is known as a page. Then now, when you take a leaf has two sides. What the secretariat, they will call it recto verso, the front and back. That is what makes up a leaf. Your introduction should not be up to one leaf. It should normally be 1.5 pages. So you can write on one side, you turn the other side, you write for about a half page there. That's 1.5. That's sufficient. Or you may write your introduction in about 1 page. And the limit I'm giving you is such that you don't write your essay should not be too short, neither should it also be too long. So when you go less than 1 page, um it's troublesome. Yes. And also, when you exceed, when you go, you write your introduction for 3 pages, it means the body will be like 15 pages. You get? So now, let's go on to the body. At the level of the body, there are a lot of things that I'm going to be telling you, and I want you to take them very serious. The first thing I will say now is that the body, at the level of the body, that's where you start making sense. The body is um the, in fact, here now, the body is the most important part of your writing, because that's where you have to put in the content. That's where you need to handle the subject matter. This is where you analyze the topic that has been given to you. So it is in the body that you harness completely the topic that has been given to you. So I will now say that the body is the central part of your essay. The body is the central part of your essay. So what you write in the body, number one, make sure that it is verifiable. Make sure that it is legitimate. What I mean is, avoid using statements like "I think." You are not supposed to be thinking when you are in an examination hall. And remember, you are writing this concours to become a civil servant, a public administrator, and to serve the government of Cameroon, to render services to the citizens, to the people of Cameroon. So you must be that person that knows exactly what you have to do, and not someone that thinks. That's not someone that thinks that we can do like this. So when you come into at the level of the essay of your work, or throughout your essay, avoid saying "I think that." You should write your essay, it should be authoritative. And also, one more thing, avoid using the first person singular or plural. I mean I or we. Yes. So and then avoid also using you. Avoid using you, the second person singular and plural. Yes. Um Now, I would like to give the frame, like the number of pages as well for the body. You should write the body in about 4 pages. The body should be equivalent to about 4 pages. That means 2 leaves. 2 leaves. You write on the two side, front and back, and on the other page, on the other is on that leaf, two side, 2 pages front and back. That's equivalent to what? Four pages. So your body, so the body of your work should cover about 4 pages. When I'm saying 4 pages, it does not mean that you only write and be looking until when you reach 4 pages, now you stop. I mean about. So when I say about 4 pages, you should now know how you can present your work to be in that range. And I'm giving the number of pages just to guide you, so that you should know. You should not write too much, like you go and cover 10 pages. Okay, it's important. If you have enough material, you want to write them down, write them. Don't omit, don't leave things because I said 4 pages. I said about 4 pages. It can be slightly above that, slightly below that. And another thing now I'll go to is the fact that the introduction is generally written in 2 parts. Yes, the plan consists of 2 parts, and these 2 parts must be balanced. In the body of your work, the 2 parts I'm talking about are um big one and big two. Big one and big two, they are written as Roman, in Roman numeral, Roman 1 and Roman 2. That's what we call big one and big two. And now big one and big two being balanced, when I say it consists of two parts that must be balanced, you must make sure that big one, what you write on big one should be equivalent to what you are writing on big two. So the number of paragraphs must be the same. The number of paragraphs under big one should be the same as the number of paragraphs under big two. Now, big one and big two, they also have their subparts, and their subparts are capital A and capital B. So we have big one, under big one, you have A and B. We have big two, and under big two, we have A and B. So now, in addition, each of the subpart A and B can also be splitted into several smaller group ideas. So you can have big one, under big one you have A and B. Under that A, you can have 1, 2, or even 3 again. But now you need to make sure that if under A, under big one A, you have sub 1, sub 2, and sub 3. Under big one B also, you must also have sub 1, sub 2, and sub 3. So that is what that's what I mean when I'm saying that the two part A and B, big one and big two, they must always be balanced. And when you come to big one, you have A and B. That A and that B must also be balanced. The number of subgrouped ideas that you are putting there, they must also be equivalent. So if under big one A, you have sub 1 and sub 2. Under big one B, now you go and put sub 1, sub 2, and sub 3, you are already running on a risk. So take note of that. And then now, between big one and big two, you must skip 4 lines in order to clearly materialize your work, to clearly show the transition between the two main ideas, big one and big two. So when you write your big one, when you finish with big one, A and B with all the subparts, you now skip 4 lines, you go to big two. Here is a type of paragraphing which is known as block paragraphing. In your English language lessons that you studied either at ordinary or advanced level, you were taught a common type of paragraph which is known as indentation. You were taught with indented paragraphing. Indented paragraphing is a situation whereby when you're writing an essay, to give a paragraph, you give a small space on the margin. You don't start writing from the margin, you give a space, then you start writing. But in block paragraphing, you skip the lines, you don't give space. So in writing your essay, you implement these two. You implement the block paragraphing at the level of the subparts, the main part and the subparts. You skip lines. And then now to indicate the subparts, you indent. And I'm going to show you all that. I'm going to snap a sample that I'm making right now, and then I'll send it to you here in the group. So I want you to get all what I'm saying and get it well. Your essay is written in two parts, two main parts, big one and big two. And big one and big two should be sufficiently separated by 4 lines. You skip 4 lines to indicate clearly that this is a transition between big one and big two. Now, under big one, you have A and B. Those are the subparts of big one. And the subpart of big two, you also have A and B. That A and B, when you finish big one A, you can skip now 2 lines. You skip 2 lines, now you go to B. When you finish your A, you skip 2 lines, you go to B to indicate. Then now under A, you have sub 1 and sub 2. When you finish your sub 1, you can now skip 1 line. Then you go to sub 2. If you also go to sub 3, when you finish sub 2, now you also skip 1 line, you go to sub 3. Then now when you finish there, now you skip 2 lines, you go to B. I hope you're getting it very clear. This is what you must do. And then I also want to make something very clear here when it comes to the body of your work. The indentation really matters a lot. When you go to big one, the only things you write at the margin, right? They are the main parts. So when you come to the body, you write big one at the margin, at the margin, right? You start from the margin, big one. Then when you now come under big one to write A, you now give a small space before you write A, like a small paragraph. When you finish that A and you want to go, when you are on that under that A, you want to write sub 1 and sub 2, you now still give a small space again that's larger than the space you get for A. Like you enter when you finish all your A and B. Now you go back to the margin and you start big 2 there, and you do the same thing for big 2. Under big 2, when you come to A, you now give it another small space again, you write A. Then you come under A, you have sub 1 and sub 2, you give a larger space, and then that's how you write. Now your big 1 and big 2 must always be written in capital letter and underlined. You are being given a question, a topic: causes and consequences of prostitution in Cameroon. So it's clear your big one is you write on the causes of prostitution, okay, and big 2 you write on the consequences of prostitution. These are the two main ideas, big 1 and big 2, of course. Then now under big 1, you are writing on causes of prostitution. You have to come out with subparts. You can come out now with personal causes and uh, social causes of prostitution. Then now that's what you write under big 1 and big 2. Yes. So now under if let's say you are giving the topic like causes and consequences of prostitution in Cameroon, big 1 you write causes of prostitution. You write it in capital letter. You underline with 2 lines. And as you're underlining big 1 with 2 lines, make sure big 2 you also write in capital letter. You underline with 2 lines because they must be balanced. Now under that big 1, you come out with 2 good ideas, 2 sub ideas in the individual causes of prostitution, like individual preferences, causes that come from self. You put there. You write it now. Individual causes of prostitution, still in capital letter. You can now underline it with 1 line, or you write it in capital letter and you leave it like that. Then big 1B, you can now write the social causes of prostitution, and these are causes by the environment, the people around. It could be it could be it could be caused by your parents, caused by other circumstances, peers, like you have friends who are prostitutes and they have been trying to have you also as one of them. You see, so you can now come out with more ideas, and then you put it under social causes. So that's just an example that I am taking. For example, another a topic that came in NAM 2023, I think, in NAM 224, yes, in NAM 224, core registrar and magistracy, common law. The general knowledge question was academic failure in Cameroon schools. Academic failure in Cameroon schools. So under this topic, you have to come out with 2 main ideas, big 1 and big 2. Under big 1, you split that idea into 2. So you split that into A and B. Under A, you also split it. Have your sub 1 and your sub 2. You write on. Yes. So I believe I've said a lot already now as far as the body of your work is concerned. And I've said that you should not be thinking. It is not time for you to think. When it comes to essay writing in public concours, you should not You should not be writing that I think that. Yes. So now we have sufficiently discussed the body. So I'll let me snap and send to you. All right, here are three samples. On the first sample, we have big one and big two. Under big one, we have A and B. Under big two, we have A and B. On the second sample, we have big one and big two. Under big one, we have A and B. Under A, we have 1, 2. Under B, we have 1, 2. And same thing for big two. And in the third sample, you have big one and big two. Under big one, you have what? A and B. Under A now you have 1, 2, 3. So that's why I said the sub part of A can be divided into different sub ideas. So if you have like a three sub ideas, you can put them. You can a small group of ideas that you can group them in three different groups. You can put under that. You can put big A under big A, big one A. You can put 1, 2, 3. B you put 1, 2, 3, and so on. So now when very soon I'll be sending, because we are hoping to complete the program very soon. And once that program is completed for your concourse, you are going to always be receiving past questions and answers. Past questions. Leave answers aside. Past questions. Or you will always be sending past questions to you people, and will be expecting you people to come out with a plan. Most at times we will not be waiting for you to write the whole essay and send. We will just wait for the plan, because after writing the plan of an essay, you have written that essay. The plan enough is sufficient. When you now take now one more thing I'm adding is, when you receive your paper to write on in the examination hall, you you first of all have the first set of pages that are empty. This written there brouillon in French and in English, rough work. There, they don't mark there. All what you are writing there is what is rough work. And there, that is where you write your plan. When you receive your paper, the question paper, and they have rang the bell, start. The first thing, you read the question at least 5 times. Okay, for example, this is an example of someone who was writing a concours. Immediately after the concours, the person came and started crying. The topic was, there is no justification for violence. There is no justification for violence. When the guy read the topic, in his own mind, the topic was, what he saw was, there is no jurisdiction for violence. Let me tell you that these are two separate things. So the guy now was thinking about legal frameworks for violence. He was thinking, he was general knowledge. The topic was, there is no justification for violence, but this man or this candidate was writing on, there is no jurisdiction for violence. Now anybody who read his paper knew that he did not read the topic well. And who is to be blamed here? It means if you are allowed to enter public service, you come there and you will not pay attention to what is being said. You not pay attention. You will take things the way they will say things, and then you hear it your own way. So who will let you into public? First of all, you fail. So that is it. So actually, I always advise that read your topic at least 3 times before you start writing. When you take the paper, read it at least 3 times. Read the topic again, read the topic at least 3 times. Then now, analyze the topic now. Reflect on the topic. Take on that rough paper, on those rough pages, because they will give you a booklet to write in. A booklet that has so many pages. On the pages that are blank, they have no ruled lines there. In NASLA, they even make it very nice. In NASLA, the first page where you are supposed to start writing, they put a stamp there. So all the pages that are there before that stamp, they are not counting. So those pages, and any book you write in that does not have a stamp, they will not mark it. So it will be as if the paper came from elsewhere and not from the official the people who are invigilating and so on. So now those pages that are for rough work, you take it, you're not you start analyzing. For example, academic failure in Cameroon schools, you just start writing. You just go to the rough pages, you write causes of academic failure, you write, come out with the causes, write the potential consequences, write the actors in the, write, even come out with a brief history of the come out with the Cameroon's educational system. Write it, write these things down. After writing all of these things down, you start now arranging them. That is when you come out with your plan. That is why I said by the time you have written your plan, you have written the essay. That is, after writing the plan, you can now write your essay smoothly, without stopping to think, without stopping to cancel, because you already wrote the essay before. You are just drafting it now. You just draft it down because you had already, you put down everything. You even the topic is academic failure in Cameroon schools. You write down all the causes of academic failure, just jot them down. Consequences, you write them down. Educational system of Cameroon, write it down. You write it down. Then you write it down. You write anything you think you may even forget as time is going on. You write it in that rough page. Then you write uh, the how can I put it? The manifestations of academic failure in Cameroon schools. How real is it? Is this really a problem in Cameroon schools? Are Cameroon schools really facing this academic failure? Of course, yes. We when you look at GCE results, is it the same kind of result that was being produced in some years ago with the coming of technology and everything? Like years ago they were not pamphlet, but today everywhere there are pamphlets, there are everything, there are textbooks. Years ago parents were not even buying textbooks for children, but now the children, they have home teachers, they have everything. So we even expect the academic success rate to increase. And but now when you even look at the setting of the questions, you realize that the questions are becoming easier, and the questions, and then people are failing. So you look at the result of official exams, and then you see that no, there's an academic decline. And that's why you come and see this kind of question in the concours, because the government have noticed that this is a problem. So we need to solve that problem. And so in your writing, you must provide solution to that problem. So you can write those, what are the strategies that the government has been putting in place to make sure that education is well handled. You write them down. The government has been equipping schools, building new schools. It is to make sure that everybody have access to education, and then the government takes time to train teachers and pay those teachers to come and teach. Upon government schools, their school fees is about something, is it it's about 7,000, maximum 10,000, because um in most lycees the school fee is about 32,000, 35,000. But most of them are like about 25 or more. It's about 25,000 or more is just for PTA. So you see that the school fee that you are paying in a government school is less than 10,000. So can the government use that 10,000 to pay all the teachers that have been teaching you? No. So you see that when you're studying in a government school, you're studying on scholarship, the government pays part of the school fees. When you go to a government university, your school fee is 50,000 francs. Now when you go to a private university, you hear things like 1.5 million, 1.7 million. Because now there you have to pay all the fees. Nobody is paying anything for you. The government subsidizes for education. When I say subsidies here are a situation whereby the government puts in money. Yes. um so that you pay only, the government does not pay everything. The government simply pays some, so that you pay the rest and acquire the service. For example, there's a time that the price of petrol was really high. The government decided to subsidize petrol, so that the road users, they can buy petrol at the normal price, and then now the amount that added on petrol is the government that pay, that was subsidizing for it. So the government was paying a good amount of money, so that Cameroonians, they should buy petrol at the normal price. That's the same thing when it comes to education. So you see, those are efforts that the government have been putting in place. Yes. And those teachers who are teaching in schools, they are under supervision. They are under supervision. So to make sure that their services are effective. Recently, the Minister of Secondary Education fired some teachers because of prolonged absences. They have been absent from school for a long period of time. The minister fires them because they are there to be teaching. They're supposed to be in school teaching, but then since they are not there, the minister decided to fire them. So you see, all these, those are measures that are or strategies the government has been putting effort in just to make sure academic to enhance the education of young Cameroonians. And in this, the government also faces challenges. Yes, in implementation of all these I've mentioned and more, the government faces challenges. You have to come out with those challenges that are faced, and you have to propose. You have to propose solutions. You need to recommend. You need to write all this down. You write them. When you write them down, the next thing you sit now and organize the idea. From here, what can I put as my big one and big two? From the topic, you come out, and from what you have written down, you come out with two main ideas. Those two main ideas will be under big one and big two. Then now you see how you can organize the ideas, fit them in. And I want you to know that there is always a way that you can fit them into the plan methodology. Never say that it is complicated, I'll leave this one out. Don't leave it out, because what you are leaving out, others have written that thing and they have even added more. So now you are leaving it out, and then you have to put it inside. Put it in, make it very make your essay to be vested with a lot of knowledge. And yeah, but after you have arranged your work, now you're going to have your essay already. You're going to, after writing the plan, this is the next thing you do. After writing the plan is mainly big one and big two. Big one A, big one B, big two A, big two B. When you come out there, that's your plan. After writing the plan, the next thing is not to start writing. The next thing is to write a conclusion. On the rough page, you are still on the rough page till now. You have not started writing. So after this, you write the conclusion. And why are you writing conclusion now? Let me tell you. There are people who have gone into the exam. The conclusion is a very important part of your work. Okay. So there are people who go into the examination hall, they spend enough time writing, and by the time their time is being exhausted, or they have very few more minutes to write, they now rush into the conclusion. And now remember, anytime you are writing in a rush, you don't put ideas well. Then now you go into the conclusion and you just write because you have to write. So it is advisable that on your rough paper, you already write down the conclusion. After writing the conclusion, now you can go now and start from the first page where you have to start writing. They always put there, they write your work starts here. You now start there, you start writing. When you write, you see now that even if you finish the body and you have just 3 minutes to pass your paper, you will simply copy your conclusion and go and pass your paper. You even copy, you still have time to read through your work at least one time before you go and pass your paper. But if it is at that time that you start sweating, thinking, you go and you write trash in your conclusion. Meanwhile, you had the ideas. Meanwhile, because the conclusion also matters, and we're coming to the conclusion very soon. We're already exhausting the body so far. I think I've been able to say everything as far as the body is concerned. And I say your body should cover at least about or approximately 4 pages. Your body should cover about 4 pages, meaning 2 leaves. Then after you must have done this, now you go to the conclusion. Go to the conclusion. Conclusion. Now, I'll be saying that I personally strongly advise candidates to write their conclusion immediately after the introduction on scrap paper, on your rough work paper, so that you should avoid rushing at the last minute due to lack of time, and then you begin to rush writing trash in the name of conclusion. So a well-structured and firmly concluded essay concludes itself. What I'm saying is, when you have written your essay very well, the essay concludes for itself. An essay that is well structured and firmly conducted, you have analyzed everything detailedly and very well, that essay concludes by itself. The conclusion allows your work to be completed in accordance with what is announced at the level of the introduction. Remember, at the level of your introduction, you ended the introduction by announcement of the plan, and you use that same announcement, what you announce for big one and big two, to write the body of your work. And now in your conclusion is simply the analysis of is simply not analysis, the review of big one and big two as it was announced in your plan and harnessed in the body. Here now you give a brief review of it to conclude. And I want to say that when you come to the conclusion, new analyses are prohibited. So that's why you must take time when you're writing the body of your work. In the body, you have to analyze everything. Don't analyze anything in the conclusion. Conclusion is for review and affirmation. Conclusion, the conclusion of your work should be about half a page to 1 page. Your conclusion should not be 5 lines. It can take half of the page on which you are writing, from half onwards until 1 page. That's the limit I will give you for the conclusion of your work. So, and I'm saying it again, in the conclusion, you are not allowed to analyze anything. All your analysis should be, all your synthesis should be done in the body. You analyze everything in the body. When you come now to the conclusion, you begin now to confirm the heading of big one and big two as it was announced. You don't make any new analysis again. So the conclusion must open the subject, like the subject treated, or the subject that you have treated in that topic, like the topic, right, you have treated in that essay. So the conclusion should also be a reflection of what you have talked about. So at this time you are concluding, it is no longer possible to approach a point that you forgot during analysis in the body. If you forgot a point in the body, leave it, let that point go. Don't come and add it in the conclusion. So it's now telling you that in order not to forget something that you will come and you'll be tempted to put in the body, in the conclusion, it's better you take your time in the body and put everything until you are satisfied. You now conclude. So that's what I'll say as far as conclusion is concerned. And what you have to put in the conclusion again are recommendations. As a concours candidate, you who is going in for public concours, don't write an essay without and put the conclusion without recommendation. Now, you went to school, you wrote O-level, you passed. You wrote A-level, you passed. You went to the university, and the university also, you have been writing my essays there, and you have been passing. Now, I want to tell you that there's a big difference between the essay you wrote there and the essay you are writing here. Even when it comes to economics, general knowledge, and all the like, some of you who did economic in the University of Yaoundé 1, University of Boya, University of, those of you who did economics there, you also have economic to write in some public concourse in Cameroon. And then I want the economic you write there is economic of government, and it is not the general economic or that you treated in school as a course. And then uh, one more thing, or let me first of all still talk more on this point I'm talking about, which is the structure of your essay being different from the essay you learned in school. And the main difference here falls at the level of your conclusion, because I'm saying you have to recommend, you have to give proposed solution. But when you were writing essays in school, you were not you it was not even proper if you will be giving recommendation. You are not even you are simply in school you are reproducing what the teacher gave you in class. But here you are now analyzing a problem that citizens or a particular state is facing, and you analyze it. You have to solve that problem, and in order to solve that problem you have to propose solutions to competent authorities. You have to give recommendations that can better solve the problem or can give us a better way forward towards a, a, that particular issue that is being faced in the society. So, and the importance of this falls at the level that when you recommend, when you recommend, when you give good recommendations, you always have good marks. Yes. And sometimes your recommendation go as far as you can imagine. Sometimes your recommendation, let's say the topic was under bilingualism and multiculturalism, and then you give a very good recommendations that the marker thinks that thing, if what you are saying is being implemented, it will solve a lot of problems in Cameroon as far as bilingualism is concerned and multiculturalism, including living together. The examiner, you see, he will read it in the marking center. The others, they also they'll congratulate. Now that's good. That's a good. Imagine they are talking about your paper like this. How will you not have a good mark? How will you not pass? And it will not end there. They will send that recommendation to the National Commission for the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism, so that they should implement it. And when they will implement it, it will bring good results. So imagine they give good comments about your paper, and take your recommendation and send it ahead. How will you not pass ENAM? How will you not pass NASLA? How will you not pass police? How will you not pass custom? So when you come to recommendation, make sure you think where you give good recommendations, and recommendation come at the level of your conclusion. After giving your general conclusion, you now give recommendations. And there are some times that when you write, there are some times that you can put the recommendation in big 2, maybe in big 2b sometimes, but it is not always advisable. Recommendations are always good to come in the conclusion. So we are going to end our today's class here. All right, guys, I've been able to harness completely the body and the conclusion of your work when it comes to essay writing. So take it very serious, exhaust it. And there's something I must mention. I'm not happy with some of you here. You're taking some things for granted, which is not good. This is, you are engaging for a war, which for you to win that battle, there are a lot of things you need to do. So you need to play your part very well, making sure that it happens good for us. You are going in for public concours, which is very competitive. So the truth is, we cannot cry more than the bereaved. You who is going in for this public concours, you are the bereaved in this scenario, and we need to rather be telling you that no, 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 you have read too much. You need to rest a bit. You will say no, sir. This night I will not sleep again. I'll still read the whole night. I will be saying that no. See the way you appeal. We should not be there to be pressuring you again to read, because you need to know what you have engaged for, and you need to know that it's very hard. But now when you study, you have made a lot of steps closer to success. uh Very soon they will launch a NAM. You see 30 places, 20 places, 15 places, 25 places. And for you to come out among these 20 people, that you need to have done a lot. You need to, it's true, you have started studying early, but then is that enough? You need to know, you need to study and make sure it's part of you. So please, I'm not happy with the fact that I gave assignment after introduction. I gave assignment and I was waiting for all of you to submit. The number of introductions I received from less than 15 people out of all of you here. Less than 15 people submitted. So it does not speak well. It does not. I gave 20 topic and I say you should choose your own. Choose 5 of them and you make the introduction and send to me, so that I will know whether you people have understood or not. I'll see where you are lacking and I can contact you personally, tell you that this way you did, what you did here was wrong. First of all, among the 15 people, I said that people should send to your various groups, so that your peers or your friends who are there, they can also uh like your friends who are there, they can see what you have done. They can, sometimes I can make an introduction five lines. I see someone making 15 lines and then it would trigger me to also make my own longer, and so on. So you see, and we are not, the reason why I group you people into these subgroups is such that you people will be having group works. So first of all, people need to be very interactive. You people need to be very interactive in the various groups. Okay. Anyway, uh, you need to tie your belt. You need to tie your belt, knowing that it's police. They're writing police very soon. It's next month, April, March, April. So tie your belt. Tie your belt. And my desire is that all of you should pass. So that's why I'm saying this. When it comes to public concours preparation, I don't like joking there. I don't like joking there because it has to do with someone's life. It has to do with your future. It has to do with you trying to get into public service and serve the people of Cameroon, practicing good ethics in government. Yes. So here, uh, you should not be joking when you're seeking for this opportunity to join public service. You should not be joking. For example, someone, um, let's say you are now a police constable and you want to become a police officer, and that's why you have joined classes to prepare and write the police officer. Then why should you be joking? Do you want to remain as a constable? Do you want to remain as as an inspector? You want to become an officer? Then study well and write the exam and pass. You are now maybe a businessman and you want to write a NAM. Why should you be joking? When you know that first of all, if you study well, you will pass the exam. Then you need to study. You need to work. You need to work. Yes. That that's the point I'll be making. When you're listening to audio lectures, you can always use your earpiece or your woofer, connect it and listen, so that the sound will be modulated. Very nice. You really listen to it and enjoy it. It should become your music. I want to share a scenario with you. Last year, I I left from SWA, and I here in Yaoundé. Those who are in Yaoundé, you can understand. I left from SWA. I came to town. I came to uh, how do we call it, Poste Central. And from Poste Central, I took a drop. I dropped from the taxi at Tota Mele, and I saw a man and his wife in their car, in their own car. And immediately I dropped down from the taxi. The man's wife was very excited and shouted out my name. So the man then horned his car and I came. And the wife presented me to him, to the husband, as Sir Godwill. one of her teachers during concours preparation. And this man, what I want to share with you is what the husband said. The husband was very happy, and the husband said he's very happy meeting me, and this voice, he has been hearing this voice all the time. So this is the man whose voice I've been hearing all the time in my house. He told me that because that time this woman just finished writing the exam. We prepared them for concours. She was writing exam, and then the classes were already over. They already wrote the concours and they were waiting for results. So the man told me that since the classes started until they wrote the concours, they never play any music in their house because of his wife. His wife every day audio lectures. Greetings, every one of you. This is God will. Today we are going to be doing a good evening, dear aspirants. This is God will. So the man said, "I've become the main musician in his house." And boom, they she did that. She attended physical classes with us. By that time, where I can't remember where she attended. We had 3 centers last year, and then um she was also taking the online classes as well. So she was always listening to audio lectures all the time. Boom, she made it. She is now a magistrate, a pupil magistrate, because she's still in ENAM. She's still a student. ENAM training is 2 years. After 2 years, you graduate. If you're going for magistracy, court registry, administration, and so on, 2 years. As well as police is 2 years, and ASLA 2 years. All right, so that's what I'm encouraging you, that you should tie your belts, do all what you can do within your power, so that you should know, your conscience should be clear, that I've done my best. You can now freely tell God that, God, this I've done my own. Now it's left for you. You can see how our teachers have uh, have done their best also, and now I've done my best. It's now left for you to do your own. You can now tell God, uh, you need to do your best. Study well. I met a student this year, uh, 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 and the guy was telling me that, I never knew you were small like this. I was laughing, and I told him that someone who reads book is never fat. You are only fat when you have when you are reading, because us who are teaching, we don't, whenever there's a new information around, we need to go in and see the way it's going on. So we need to consistently be studying, we need to consistently be teaching. So now we should not now study more than you who are going in for the concours. Okay, so that's what I told him. Someone who reads is never fat. So now some of you started these classes and you are instead gaining weight. Meanwhile, you're supposed to even cut down, and you can gain the weight when you become the police superintendent. When you become that public administration, you can gain the weight. When you become that, you can now gain weight. So nice day to all of you.